Welcome to the world of mass gaming, a place of excitement, adventure, horror and adrenaline rushes, a place that you can escape to when you're bored of real life. Here is a digital universe that can be entered by anyone at any time by the click of a button. You could even say it was better than life itself. Well, not everyone thinks that. With nearly half of the UK's population playing computer games, some people are getting a bit worried about where our society is heading. At least 1 in 4 boys spend more than 15 hours a week playing console games. In a national profile of gamers in the UK, 48% were female.
What am I to do? I can't.
Gaming is no longer something we do for leisure, it is a way of life. The line between reality and the synthetic worlds is blurring, to the alarm of many experts. But what about the gamers themselves? Did they see these problems, or is it all just media hype?
I think it's because it's a kind of freedom, isn't it? It's a freedom to do whatever you want that isn't in the world. I mean, for instance, you've got Grand Theft Auto, those type of games, where you can be.
They're just influence people to do bad things.
It's like a way of escaping from your normal life. So, like me, as soon as I download the game and start playing, I'm straight into it. It's like locked on and nothing else matters around me.
Studies, thousands of them exist, on whether violence on television affects children, whether sex on television affects children, whether they pick up swear words through television, all that kind of thing. And of course, there's varying degrees of success which say whether it does or doesn't. The negative part of media effects research is that if only 4% of their subjects are found to be affected out of the whole study, then of course they can say yes, because 4% are affected by it. But it means that 96% aren't.
The new online ventures of games developers have brought about massive multiplayer online games. EverQuest, World of Warcraft and Lineage have at least 20 million subscribers, and that figure is rising.
It's a game.
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little fact about gaming. You know, you ever played a game so long your eyes start stinging?
Mm.
Well, that's because you're so concentrated on the game you forget to blink.
Really?
That's crazy.
Well, have you ever felt like saying like lol or something like that?
Yeah.
In real life, no, lol.
Ruffle.
What a
I can imagine in the future it being those projector holograms. You know, instead of it being on a screen.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean,
Cool.
over the past 10 years, you can tell from the games that you played on the first PlayStation,
Yeah.
and then now to the PlayStation 2, you can just see through.
I think it's a bit harsh of society to say that gaming's unhealthy. I think that people have played games for years and years and years in a variety of different ways, and just because people are now doing it with a computer doesn't mean it's any less of a game.
With online gaming becoming the most popular form of play for people across the world, in-game relationships are of utmost importance. But do internet relationships share the same human elements as, say, two people living in the same house? We found Ben and Anya, a couple that rely completely on internet communication, mainly because Anya lives in Portugal and Ben in Southampton. They both play Guild Wars, one of the current massive online games. I organised a meeting with them in Guild Wars. I have the date, the time and the place, Lion's Arch, a town in the south of Kreiter. So off I go, with my scantily clad but might I say muscly warrior, to talk to them amidst the dozens of players on the server. I wanted to find out how they cope not being able to meet one another face to face, and if they could still enjoy one another's company on a game. They were meeting me using Beriton Melthak and Varda Nalderya, Ben and Anya's respective alter egos in-game.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but really, nothing beats speaking face to face. There's just so much that you can't express through words, and yet at the same time, it's such a wonderful means of communication. Because how else would you get to know someone that lives in a completely different country?
I mean, most couples, when they go on dates, they go to the mall or to go see a film. We smite evil.
Yeah, playing Guild Wars is a good thing, even though I kind of get into it a bit too much.
Of course, nothing says I love you quite like giving your partner a red iris from pre-searing Ascalon.
You never gave me a red iris from pre-searing Ascalon.
I think desensitisation is a real issue. You do get young kids driving around like lunatics because they do see it represented as a computer game, and they get the two realities mixed up. I think computer games are just such a part of our everyday life now that I think probably every household's got a PS2 or an Xbox. I mean, and more and more people are getting them, and more people are using them, and it's just becoming another form of escapism.
Hearing what gamers have to say, maybe we can start to understand why they appear so enthralled with their digital worlds. It's time we got rid of our preconceptions and start to see gamers as normal human beings. Whether you like it or not, gaming has become an occurrence of everyday life, and it's only going to become more important in the future. If you don't believe that, then frankly, you're in your own little fantasy world too.